In this video, it's time to turn your 3 layers into an official quilt. I'm Donna and welcome to part 2 of the series on how to turn your quilt top into an actual quilt. We'll go over machine quilting here, but you can find hand quilting instructions on a separate video. For specialty tools, you'll need a walking foot attachment, which can help reduce your fabric layers from shifting as you sew, and quilting gloves. They're lightweight with rubber-coated fingertips to help you grip your project while machine quilting. Quilting not only holds your 3 layers in place, but it can also add visual interest and irresistible texture to your project. A simple quilt design where your stitches will go from one edge of your quilt to the other edge, such as straight lines, is great for beginners, so that's what we'll focus on. If you prefer to start and stop your machine stitches, say in the middle of a quilt, it's not part of this series, but I do or will have a different video tutorial for that. Okay, so I like to begin my quilting at the horizontal center of a quilt. Roll your quilt up halfway to that horizontal center. This way, your quilt can fit through your machine's throat space without too much finagling. Since I went with straight lines going diagonally for my quilt design, I'm folding it up to the halfway point in a diagonal fashion. Now, if you're working on a large quilt, I know that carrying the weight of a large project can feel awkward, so I tend to put my rolled up quilt on my shoulder to keep it away from getting caught under the wheels of my chair. I also find it helpful to have another table behind my sewing machine to not only help carry that weight, but to also catch your quilt as you go, making this whole process a bit more manageable. Okay, let's get back to the program. Place your quilt so that your first couple of stitches begin just beyond your quilt top. Then, slowly sew a straight line, keeping your hands on either side of the needle so you can guide your layers through. This helps keep your quilt nice and flat. I'm wedged between 2 cameras and I'm also distracted by how I'm capturing the footage, so I know my stitches aren't super straight. If imperfect stitches bother you, this is a great reminder to make sure you're keeping your eyes on your quilt. Now keep going until you reach just past your quilt top, removing your pins as you go. There, you've sewn a straight line. Straightish line for me. Now you'll just repeat the step until you've finished the first half of your quilt. It can be tempting to go fast, but take your time when you're quilting. If you're going too fast, that may show up on your quilt. Let's say your edge-to-edge quilt design requires you to change directions midway. Here's an example where I went with V-shaped lines. You'll just start the same way, and when you reach the part where you need to pivot, lift your presser foot but keep your needle in the down position. Then rotate the quilt to the proper direction. I know this is a little awkward, especially if you're working on a large quilt. With the needle still down, lower the walking foot and continue quilting as usual. Remember to keep your hands on either side to keep your quilt smooth and flat. Once the first half is done, you'll unroll your quilt, rotate it 180 degrees, and repeat the same steps for the other half that needs to be quilted. So I'm going back to my machine and just continue quilting the second half of the quilt, making sure I remove the pins as I go. Okay, we have ourselves a quilt. As you can see, there are some wavy areas here because I was quilting a little too fast during the second half, and I wasn't positioning my hands properly to guide my layers through the machine. But hey, we have a quilt that's ready to be squared up, which is part 3 of this series, so I hope to see you there. In the meantime, please hit subscribe to support these human-made videos and so you don't miss more quick and easy to digest sewing tutorials. Thanks for watching.